Hey, what's up, Tapatíos? Nothing happened here, bro. I'm just doing the usual. Just gonna be reading out of my book here. Thanks for coming, man. Yeah, I'm here. The host has got to be here. Otherwise, this wouldn't be a live stream. What's up, John Denicola? Eat your broccoli. How you doing? Good to have you guys here. It's about Bowie, Arizona, John. Claiborne County Transparency, welcome in. Yes, by all means, let's hit that like button. Robert Wolf the second. What's happening, man? Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Alrighty. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get right into it, guys. So we have a sufficient amount of folks in chat. Yeah, Robert Wolf. It's just you look up a copyright, no copyright background music, and it'll give you a bunch of different ones, depending on what you like. It really jazzes it up. It jazzes up the channel a little bit, a little bit of entertainment at the beginning. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is chapter 4, Early Families and Businesses, and this is in Bowie, Arizona. Joseph Jacques was a huge promoter of Bowie through the Bowie Enterprise newspaper and his real estate office. Other publishers were T.M. Windsor, W.E. Rood, Leroy Lancaster, N. Sams, and Dr. William Gillespie. Estelle Jacques ran the New Bowie Hotel in 1916. Hotel Hal became the Natick Hotel with the owners Bud and Tennessee Tiny, Rotten Snow, Mary Jane Countryman, Shade Kelly, and Samuel Davis. H.R. Hinman was proprietor of the Annex Hotel, which he sold to Dana Milner. It was subleased to Mrs. R.E. Ballou of Cochise in 1918. In 1931, Molly Smith was proprietor. Other businessmen who made a tremendous difference in the promotion and growth of Bowie were Dana Milner, Albert Spikes, Laren Scott, and Douglas Welker. Bowie Water Company and Light Plant was organized by Joseph P. Ch4, F.L. Torrance, J.J. Hutchison, Dana Milner, and N.G. Richards. In 1917, Milner and Hempstead bought the Tevis block to build apartments, and the first subdivision of 5-acre parcels was offered. The 1917 Red Light Abatement Act made it illegal to rent property for purposes of prostitution. The same year, the businessmen formed the Bowie Board of Trade, a forerunner of the Chamber of Commerce. After Highway 86 was completed, motels replaced the hotels. Gasoline stations, garages, and cafes served the numerous travelers on the road. Business owners took pride in the facades of their buildings, creating some noticeably unique ones. As Interstate 10 was being built, Bowie fought to have the Safford interchange intersect the town for an interchange that would bring the tourists into downtown. They lost both battles. Interchanges were put 1 mile out on each side, and Safford interchange ended up in the middle of nowhere. Zuri White and Ann Eliza Hancock Bulliam came from Uvalde, Texas, filing for a homestead 1 mile north of town on January 18, 1912. Daughters May and Clara filed nearby homesteads. Daughter Thelma married William O'Connor, who worked for the Southern Pacific. They also had a son named Roy. Hey, appreciate it, Five of a Kind Media. Appreciate you guys all being here. It's very cool of you guys to show up and spend a few minutes with me. Clara Pulliam was live-in teacher to Anna Lohan's 3 daughters of the HYL Ranch. She married John Kaiser on August 16, 1914, and moved to the Marble Camp where John was caretaker. They lived in the McNutt house. Whenever the phone line broke, Clara would load the children on burros and go repair the line. They moved into town in 1922. Clara served as treasurer of the Yucca Garden Club. Clara and John Kaiser's children were Velma Ann and Jack. Jack missed school because of illness, and they graduated together in 1935. Jack married Vita Ray Price and worked in Nogales, and Velma Ann married Henry Dwayne Dutch Lockwood. Dutch worked for Tanner Construction when paving Highway 86. He drilled the first deep irrigation well in 1948 and ginned the first bale of cotton in 1950. Velma Ann and Dutch started the Lockwood Dairy in 1943 on the old Zuri and Anna Pulliam homestead, offering home delivery of milk, cream, and butter. Their son Dwayne looks out the window as his sister Judith Ann sits on the bumper. After Dutch's death in 1954, the farm was leased to Leland Jones. Velma Ann worked at the Lone Star Cafe and as clerk for the Justice of the Peace. Yeah, you got that right, Tapatios. Yeah, everything looked different, looked more peaceful, but I guarantee you, it's just, man, life was a lot harder than it is now. Can guarantee that much. Alfonso Theo Jacques came to Bowie from San Andreas, Mexico in 1900. He worked for the railroad at Steins, New Mexico at the Rock Crusher. Jacques was employed at the Mascot Mine, then as cowboy for Anna Lawhan and Levy Nape. He worked at the goat ranch for the Gajkovich family and Albert Spikes. His wife was Gregoria Carrion. He died April 9th, 1955. Yeah, different time, different era, man. Can only imagine what it was like then. Captain Burns, a Civil War veteran, had mining claims known as Gold Farm and Mineral Park. Large mining operations would send for him as an advisor. In April 1917, he went to the Soldiers' Home in Sawtell, California, where he ended his days. In September 1919, Bowie Garage was purchased by R.V. Missenheimer. In April 1924, George Cadman was proprietor. Lauren O. and Welcome Mimi Scott arrived on August 2nd, 1915. Their first home was a railroad car with few, if any, amenities. Mimi wrote on the back, "This is how it looked when we got here." It was at Escala Station on the Arizona Eastern Railway between Bowie and Safford. Welcome Scott, the daughter of Lauren and Welcome Mimi Scott, born in 1919, swings from the water pump at the well in Bowie. She married William Yelton and had a son, Lauren. Her sister, Barbara Jean, born in 1921, married Doug Welker and was the first female Justice of the Peace from 1982 to 1990. Yeah, so the technology can be that way sometimes, man. It can also be helpful, but depends on how you're using it. Minnie Plaster was in charge and answering calls since 1915 in the Mountain States Telephone Exchange Office, owned by A.D. Adams. Next door, the Opera House, owned by Thomas Riggs, provided space for town social events, guest performers, and the Christian church services and school graduations. Excuse me, guys. By 1917, moving pictures were being shown there and down the street in the Air Dome. The Armstrong brothers opened the bank and trust with their real estate and insurance business built in 1912. It failed in 1915. The vault was found empty of his $3,500. President Joseph Armstrong did not get far. He was apprehended in San Simon on his way to Omaha. In 1924, L.C. Riggs opened a meat market in the telephone exchange building next to the Opera House. You guys. Above, looking north toward the tracks in 1915, shows the Bowie Garage, owned by Earl Boyd and sold to Antice Dixon. In 1919, Dixon Brothers installed a new gasoline station with Texas Company gasoline. Considered better than what Bowie has been getting. Below, business line, drugstore, and ice cream parlor, the bank, post office, telephone exchange, opera house, and the Air Dome. On the right are Weinberger's Mercantile, a barber shop, pool hall, Harry Henderson's pool hall. Operated by Estelle Jacques, the Kellum Buildings with Rice Sweet Shop and the Justice of the Peace's office. Jacques' real estate office and the grammar school with bell tower. Yep, all dirt roads, man. Hello there, Mama Gnome. Hey, welcome into the stream. I appreciate you dropping in. Lola Blake Tomlinson, a photographer and stenographer, had an office that included a rental library. Thanks to her, early town photographs exist. She filed for homestead in December 1914, was postmistress from 1914 to 1925, secretary for the Irrigation District Association, and matron of the Order of the Eastern Star. Preceding postmasters were William Martin, Adolph Solomon, David Wickersham, Edward Tevis, Lambert Fry, James Tevis, Joseph Pruitt, Homer Henrich, and Henry Henrich. Damn. Hold on, guys. Let me move it to the other side because it's getting kind of windy and it's in the shade right here. Feels like it's 30 below. All right, guys. Excuse me. I had to move over to this side. It is, after all, just a little windy. Slight breeze coming through. I'm in that shade. Damn, it gets a little chilly. No bus, Dave. First time seeing you here, man. I appreciate you dropping in. Just make sure we hit that like button. All right, thank you very much. Frankelina Hempstead lived in the old Tevis home. He ran the drugstore and she became postmistress in 1925. The first rural-free delivery for the valley started on June 1st, 1914, with J.J. Thompson as the first carrier. Lena was followed by postmasters William Ira Welker, Ethel Parkhurst, Jesse May Scott, John Grimes, Ruth Cox, Gilbert Alfaro, and Bedoya. Bedoya. Sorry. Yeah, get on the bus, Gus. In 1917, Virgil Howe owned the Elite Cafe. In 1925, Frank Gonzalez had his store here. H.D. Haggerty owned the drugstore and sold out to Frank Hempstead on April 14th, in 1923. The Bank of Bowie opened April 16th, 1917, with President Tom Riggs, Vice President F.L. Torrance, and cashier Dana Milner. It became a branch of Riggs Bank in 1931. Bank receptionist Hattie Denniston left in it. in November 1923 to take a position with the Board of Supervisors in Tombstone. She was replaced by Bessie York. Dana T. Miller had seven employees between the bank and his store. Was elected to the Arizona State Legislature in 1920. Business was so brisk that the teams would be tied to hitching posts extending one block on each side of the bank. I've only been on a horse once, and that was when I was maybe about 13. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Zola B. Tomlinson photographed the inside of the post office. There was also the Eastman Kodak Agency selling camera supplies, stationery, and a complete stock of postcards. Gladys Page was assistant postmistress in 1915. Her aunt was Miss C.M. Johnson, a former principal at Bowie School. In 1917, Carrie Chandler was post office assistant, followed by Delta Chandler in 1919. Hey, Tapatios, I think it would be safer to ride one of them little miniature horses, bro. Considering, man. Start off small and work your way up. See Tapatios on a little mini horse. Bowie Enterprises newspaper's first issue was published September 5th, 1913. W.D. Reiser and N.E. Miles from Fort Davis, Texas were editors and proprietors. Herman Fries published the Arizonian at the same time. In March 1917, the Bowie News was absorbed by the Enterprise, with new owner Joseph Jacques Ch4. Oh, okay, well. And Delta Townsend bought Bowie Enterprise and San Simon Valley News from Ch4 and Ch4. Okay. In September 1920. Dicey Dooley Parkhurst and her husband Bert, who owned the shoe shop in 1923, with their daughter Ethel Parkey Parkhurst and Frances Biddy Chamberlain. Dicey was janitor at the school, stoked the fires, and rang the handheld school bell. Parkey was postmistress from March 1949 to 1970. Parkey's postal clerk assistants were Nathaniel Grusendorf, who worked in the post office for 38 years, and Jesse Scott. Hey, what's happening there? Cool. Peace, brother. From left to right, Marion Bowl, Ethel Parkhurst, and Goldie Mantooth were college classmates at the University of Arizona. Marion and her parents came to Bowie from Hope, Kansas by way of Cochise, Arizona. A Bowie graduate in 1926, she married Howard Barbary in 1944. She taught school in Bowie for 20 years, the last 14 in the first grade room that was dedicated to her in 1999. In August 1923, Southern Pacific built a huge sign measuring 24 feet long by 12 feet high to advertise the Apache Trail. It was placed where all travelers passing through town would notice. Electric lights on the sign were powered from the plant at the railroad station. Sightseeing tours to Globe included bus service to Roosevelt Dam and Phoenix. Hey, you're cool if you want to. You can always drop your link for your other channel. There Scott's first service station built in March 1925 sold standard gas and Miller tires. At the same time, Charlie Sands started an up-to-the-minute service station in Dunn's warehouse on the main highway. Scott was a clerk in Dana Miller's store in 1917. He started the light plant which he sold to Arizona Public Service in 1930. Hey, what's happening next? Miss Karen, how you doing? Sunset Service Station in 1930 sold Sinclair gasoline. Tom Fausel, owner from 1928 to 1948, pumps gas by hand, receiving power from a Kohler light plant. The Fausels were the first non-railroad family in town to have electric power. The 1927 Model T Ford was sold to Eva Hall. In 1939, the building was jacked up, turned, and moved back 100 feet to accommodate the new highway. The Fausel children all graduated from Bowie High School. Photographed in 1937 are from left to right Mary Doreen, Kenneth, Victor, Raymond, Delbert, and Edward. Edward and Delbert attended aircraft building school. Ray ran the service station while his dad worked on a bridge building gang for the railroad. They lived in an old school house with blackboards still on the walls. Ray Fausel married Billie Jean Sheffield, daughter of a foreman for Southern Pacific. So they're all lined up from smallest to tallest. Looks like a cell tower signal on your phone. You know when it goes up and you got full strength. Charles and Stella Grusendorf's grocery store, Hay and Grain, drayage businesses were located in the Solomon Wickersham building on the corner of Central and 7th Streets. They purchased George Potter's Ford truck and opened for business on March 7, 1924. They moved to Jackson, Mississippi in 1932. Hey, what's happening in Rhodey's Jam Cave? Yucca Lodge was a popular motel after Highway 86 was paved through town. Frank and Margaret Nelson operated it from 1966 to 1978. Their son Bob is retired from the railroad. Their daughter Bunny married Chano Ch4. The Nelsons sold the lodge to Bill and Ollie Sensor. Anna Sue Garrett is kneeling at the Yucca Lodge in 1950. During her senior year of high school, she rented the front room for $5 per week. Owners Earl and Thelma Bates later built apartments behind the coffee shop on the current Dairy Burger site, which they sold to Bill and Jesse Scott. Anna Sue married Earl Mahan. Yeah. Yeah, ate your broccoli cheddar, arms crossed there. She's like, God damn it, I wasn't expecting that shit. Okay, you guys don't have my permission to take my goddamn photograph. Shit. You didn't ask me. Earl Bates built Yucca Lodge, pictured in its heyday. It was located on 6th Street and Highway 86. Excuse me. Marguerite, Sadie, Ben, and Bud Kratzberg are pictured from left to right about 1930. Ben was a professional baseball player, owned a Chevrolet agency with Isham Ike Chastain, and was deputy sheriff, justice of the peace, and on the Irrigation District Association Board. Marguerite married Victor Bowl. Henry and Pauline Kratzberg arrived from Greeley, Kansas, with homestead entry on December 13th, 1913. Ben married Sarah Sadie Brown in Bowie on January 25th, 1914. Hey, what's up, 420? Geronimo's Castle, built by Clifford Head, opened for business in May 1940. A favorite hangout for teenagers, it stands 50 feet high and 36 feet in diameter, with the outside covered in asphalt shingles. Main, there are a main floor restaurant, curio shop, pool hall, basement living quarters, and a gas station outside. It was a Greyhound bus station and located next to the Ben Ben Barsk's TP Motel. Get the fuck out of here! That damn fucking fly. Yeah, you know what they say, actually. The women like a man with dishpan hands. From left to right, Samuel and Emily Tidwell Holland McKee are on a family outing with Al Dillon, his daughter Shirley, and young Samuel Buddy McKee. Samuel McKee was a barber and electric appliance dealer. McKee's Pleasure Parlor advertisement was in the 1939 school yearbook. It was the first yearbook and had a wooden cover with original photographs. Only about 30 books were published. It was many years before there was another school yearbook. In 1931, Beulah's Cafe moved into the Pleasure Parlor, and McKee moved his barbershop across the street into the hotel building. Yep, you got that right. Eat your broccoli. The reporter from Western Waves magazine of Phoenix is with Lauren O. Scott in preparation for writing a story to promote Bowie. The sign marks the spot where Cochise' father, then chief of the Apaches, ordered the massacre of everyone in White's wagon train, who were on their way to California. Louis Adler from New York built the Home on the Range motel. He hand carved 125 totem poles of Kachino dolls from bridge timbers and sold them for $15 a linear foot. A 15-foot pole required 10 days of steady carving. Painted by Russell Brankley, local sign painters, some were up to 40 feet tall. Pauline Adler managed to managed the motel after his death in January 1952. George Milton Skeets and Louis Burrell Thomas stand by their car about 1938. He was so nicknamed because he was a 98-pound mosquito. His family came to the area by covered wagon in 1894. His mother was a waitress in the Railroad Hotel. Originally in the old bank building, the new Skeets Tavern was constructed by Skeets and Bob Bajar on 6th Street and Highway 86. Thomas, still running the bar at age 89, said, "I don't mind telling you I'm one of the best bartenders there ever was." Wayne Cox also bartended. Shown about 1944, it also housed the Greyhound bus stop and a cafe located next door with Skeets Mobile gas station. At various times, he owned a garage and lumberyard and worked as a rodeo promoter, owning 3 rodeo grounds. Good God. How many fucking pages are in this chapter? Shit. Damn, this is a fucking long ass chapter, guys. George Pepper built the Lone Star Cafe and made a beautiful restaurant out of it. It was operated in 1954, but had transferred ownership to L.W. Tilton by 1958. Dewey Kissinger was the chef. Revelo rented it at one time. Whoever Revel cooked, the customers followed because she had the best donuts and pies anyone ever ate. Frances Morris and Eileen Harmon are dressed in their waitress uniforms on their way to work at the Lone Star Cafe in 1950. Frances' son Billy was a talented trombone player. He became a great band leader in the Douglas and Benson schools. Yeah, you guys tried them new emojis out, guys. It's right there where that little smiley face is where you guys type in your comments. John H. and Edith Dunn Onley ran the Gateway Chevron service station on 7th Street for Lauren Scott. The Olneys were related to outlaw Joe Hill, who changed his name from Olney while running from the law. He was killed in 1884 when thrown by his horse and is buried in the Bowie Cemetery. Joe Doyle headed the Bowie Volunteer Fire Department in 1958. Among others on call were Joe and Tommy Cook and Johnny Gates. A meeting was held in May 1923 to organize a fire brigade with Southern Pacific. A fire could be controlled very well within the length of the hose, but it did not reach the residences on the outskirts of town. But that was quite an inconvenience, not being able to reach the other folks on the outside of town. That one's a goat. That one's a goat there, Karen. Yeah, some would look pretty kind of strange, but better than the old ones there. I mean, Glenn and Nellie Royster arrived from Colorado. They owned a Bowie Dixie service station and a real estate business, shown here in 1960. Their son Garrett graduated in 1955. Their daughter Gail graduated in 1959 with Bowie School's highest grade average in history. Gas station closed in 1990 and the real estate office in 1996. Nellie was a member of the Yucca Garden Club. Yeah, you tell him, Karen. Tell him we want better emojis, damn it. What kind of nonsense are you guys putting in here? Ooh, man. God damn. Shit. Alright. At age 31, Oscar Philip Doggy Olander became the youngest sheriff ever in Arizona and served 2 terms as Cochise County Sheriff. The 1960s television series The Sheriff of Cochise County was based on actual case files. Olander later became chief of security for Phelps Dodge Mining Company. His parents Anton and Sally Olander made homestead entry on November 7, 1919 in Heaton Canyon. Deputy Sheriff Leroy Brown is holding son Todd with son Jeff in front. Brown was killed in the line of duty on December 6, 1969 in the Dairy Burger. Andres Griego threw hot coffee in Brown's face and shot him in the head. Wow. Hot damn. Griego ran to the high school where he shot and killed himself. Brown's wife Jackie was presented with his Medal of Valor. Kind of reminds you of that song about Leroy Brown. You guys know which song I'm talking about. It's kind of an oldie. Or it is an oldie, I mean. That's pretty sad, man. Big coffee thrown in your face and they get shot. That's terrible. Thomas Cook, born in England, learned the blacksmith trade. In 1928, he married Opal Wheeler, a Bowie school teacher in Cotaro, Arizona, where he ran a store and post office. He served as Bowie Justice of the Peace from 1945 to 1962. His home was his office until he constructed the original court building in 1953. Their children are Doris, Tommy, Joe, Phyllis, and Joyce. Yeah, Karen, next. The song that started coming in my head when I seen that name. Doris Cook and Eugene Engler are pictured on their wedding day, October 23rd, 1949. With Bowie buildings in the background, their children are Jeanette and Dawn. Doris was recognized for outstanding service while secretary at Bowie School. She worked at the school from 1964 to 1995, serving 8 different school superintendents. Former students attest how her encouragement created a great positive influence in their lives. Dixon, local barber, was born in 1915 at Bear Springs and married Idra Frame. He was deputy sheriff and then justice of the peace from 1963 to 1966. Escorted by his friend and fellow deputy Claude Fortenberry to the state prison in Florence, he served 18 months for the mismanagement of court funds. He likes showing his customers his collection of photographs of highway accidents. I hope we didn't show him anything too gruesome. Yeah, if you guys can, man, I'd greatly appreciate it. For something to eat, maybe, or I actually do need something actually for my bike. I do need batteries for the bike, so if you guys can, it's always helpful. If not, I'd greatly appreciate you guys either way. Pete's Garage was owned by Pete Hernandez. It was the old Dixie Dixon's Union 76 service station, owned by Cliff's brother Warren H. Dixon. The parents were Antice and Nora Reed Dixon. Pete built stock cars for racing. He is married to Trevor McConnell. The batteries I could use for my lights on my bike. So, if you guys can send anything, to get some cheapy batteries, I'd greatly appreciate it. Or to get something to eat. Thank you guys. Billy B. Cadwood served as Justice of the Peace from 1967 to 70. His wife was Rose. His parents were Henry and Cassie Blair Kaywood. Their other children were Donald, Richard, and Pauline. Morris Kaywood was his cousin. Wallace Lundquist was elected Justice of the Peace from 1971 to 1974. His father worked for the Southern Pacific Railroad and moved the family to many different towns. He was a deputy sheriff and the first city manager of Willcox, Arizona. The street was named after him, but later changed to Rex Island Drive. He and wife Vera Wooten had two daughters, Phyllis and Laura. I had no idea Rex Island Drive here in Willcox was named after this guy before. It's crazy. The more you know. County Supervisor Tommy Thompson with a special golden shovel digs the first shovelful of dirt in the groundbreaking ceremonies for the new medical clinic on March 17, 1975. From left to right are Thompson, Dr. Marvin Combs of Wilcox was the doctor in charge, Russell Collison was a full-time physician's associate, and Vernon Baker was chairman of the board of directors. At the groundbreaking and excited about the groundbreaking, and excited about finally having a medical clinic in Bowie are from left to right Sue Larson, Douglas Welker, Stella Kosarski, Vern Baker, Sarah Tallett, Kayes, Elvin Dutch, Grusendorf, Carl Elkins, Dahlia Baker, Sue Thatcher, Douglas Dunn, Jill Alfaro, and Edna Weber. Alright guys, that is the end of chapter 4. That was quite a long one. I wasn't even expecting it to be that long. what happens when I don't look at how many pages are in the chapter. Alright guys, just wanted to say thank you guys again for always joining me here and spending time with me. I really do appreciate you guys very much. And once again, if you guys can, donate a little bit, try to get some batteries for my lights on my bike, or for something to drink. It's always welcome. And I thank you guys very much. Thank you all for being here. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll be doing chapter 5. Much love, guys. This was AG.